Hello and welcome. We are looking in this video at calculating fuse ratings. By that I mean working out which value of fuse to put into the plugs for different appliances. Now we've gone over how we set up plugs in a previous video. What we're focusing on more now is working out which fuse to put in the plug so that it's safe for us to use. Now the formula that we use for this is this one here. It's power equals potential difference times current. We've come across this in a previous video already. Here are the units for those different values. Capital W for watts, V for volts, and A for amps. Now in this form we can use this formula, but we actually need to work out values of current so that we can work out which type of fuse to use. And what we need to do is to rearrange the formula so that I is the subject of the formula. Now there's two ways we can do this. We can use our math skills to show that I equals power over potential difference, or you can remember the formula triangle, and this unfortunately you will have to remember because it's not given to you in the exam. The formula triangle can be used if you have any two of these values but not the third. Okay, so in this case we're going to be trying to work out current, and we won't have the value of current, and that, as you can see here, is P divided by V, or you can just remember P divided by V gives you the current, or if you're good at rearranging formulas you don't need to worry about it because this will be given to you in the exam. Now here are a few examples. We are going to choose between a 3 amp fuse, a 5 amp fuse, and a 13 amp fuse for each of these different appliances, and we're going to work it out from knowing the power rating and the potential difference that each appliance uses, and we're going to work out the current, then decide which fuse to use. So for the first one we have a fridge and the power rating is 115 and the voltage is 230. Using our formula triangle, this is the one we want, this is the value we want, the current, so that is power over voltage. So we would work out, in this case, power is 115 watts, voltage is 230, so it's 115 divided by 230, and that gives us an answer of 0.5. So 0.5 amps. Let's put that there so we know. 0.5 amps. So that means which fuse would we use? Well, this fridge requires 0.5 amps to run, so the minimum we can use here is the 3 amps. So here we'd use the 3 amp fuse. We wouldn't use the 5 amp or the 13 amp because if there was a large surge in current it could produce or could be given a lot of current before the fuse would blow, and that could cause damage to the fridge or other problems. Now second one here, we've got a heater, 460 watts over 230 volts, so it's a similar thing again. For this one it's 460. I'm actually just going to use the same color throughout just to save time. So it's 460 over 230 equals 2 amps, runs off 2 amps, and so we would use again the 3 amp fuse. If you want to pause here and have a go at the last two yourself, you can. Give it a go and then see if you get the answers right. If not, I'll just carry on going through them now. For the lamp, 100 over 12, which is 8.3 amps, and in this case that means we would not use the 3 amp or the 5 amp fuse because they would blow instantly, because we need to draw a current of 8.3 amps. So if we put a 3 amp fuse or a 5 amp fuse, they would blow because they are designed to blow at the value that's written on the fuse. Okay, so then in this case we would use the 13 amp fuse, and for the last one here we've got 800 divided by 230, and that gives us an answer of 3.47. let's call it 3.5 amps, and therefore we would use the 5 amp fuse, because if we use a 3.5, if we use a 3 amp fuse, we are running it off a current of 3.5 amps. That's likely to blow every time we switch the microwave on. Okay, so this is how you choose the value of your fuse. You use this formula here, I equals P over V. Remember the formula triangle if you can. If not, you will probably need to be able to rearrange the formula in the exam. Now they're not always given as neatly and nicely as this. This is just for practice really. You might see something a bit more like this. So we're calculating fuse ratings, and we have a label from an appliance, whatever that appliance might be, and it tells us on that label that it runs off 30 volts with an output of 120 watts. So the question says which fuse is the best one to use for the given appliance. We can choose from 3 to 5 to 13. How would we do that? Well, very simply, we need our formula. So what current is it running off? It's I equals P over V. So that gives us the power of 120 divided by the voltage or potential difference of 30. So the current that this requires to run is 120 over 30, which is 4. That's 4 amps, making sure we got the units right. And therefore, if this appliance requires 4 amps to run, there's no point using a 3 amp fuse because that would blow every time we switched it on. A 13 amp, if we used that, if there was a surge in current that went up to 8, 9, 10 amps, that could be dangerous for a person, or it could damage the appliance. So we don't want the 13, we actually want the 5 amp fuse. So we would use the 5 amp fuse, because if the current goes just slightly over, well, over up to 5 amps, it will blow if it goes 5 amps or over. Okay, so that's how we calculate fuse ratings using the relevant formula. That's me done for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.